And now you're now entering a space for Black history. Welcome to Black excellence. Do not fear, for if you do, just sip on some grandeur.
We got 107 views! Welcome to episode of the podcast and chill. We are back.
Is it like a standard for you to greet in bed?
We got a special announcement to make today, 7th of November, 2020. Give it up for the one and only Sol Penuka. So the next milestone, Sol, are you ready for this? We're trying to fill up Sunbet Arena in Pretoria on the 15th of April for our 1 million subscribers event.
1 million?
1 million. Hey, but I'm scared about this one, Sol. So before we go, Ghost Lady, you're going to love this. Grammy Award-winning Maverick City's Music's Naomi Rain is in town.
Oh.
Yes. She will perform live at Rhema Bible Church on the 1st of April, 2023. She'll be singing Maverick City's favorite songs like Jireh. Jireh?
Gyra.
Gyra or Gyre?
No, it's Gyra.
Jehovah Gyre. I've
Yeah,
heard
Jehovah
people sing that
Gyra.
in
That's
gospel.
a beautiful song, Gyra.
How does it go?
Yeah.
How does it go?
Do you gyrate?
No gyrating. No.
Oh, how does it go?
Gyra.
Yo,
I know.
yeah, Bieber.
I'm bad at singing, but I know that song.
Okay.
You see, me and Fact Check, I know us church girls.
We wouldn't happen to know it.
No, you wouldn't, because I'm Hambi son.
There isn't a piano remix. And Promises. Promises?
Promises.
Which
Yeah.
one's that one?
I don't know that one.
Do you know it, Fact Check?
Oh,
Sing
she
it for us.
knows
Let's
that
hear.
one.
Let's hear.
Please sing it. Please sing Gyra. I know I love Gyra.
Let's hear.
Promises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not my cards, yeah, Nina. Hey, you see Black Studios.
It's from the rising sun to the setting same. I'll remain steadfast. Great is your faithfulness to me. Gyra, Gyra, you are enough. I will be content in every circumstance. You are Gyra. You are enough. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Not bad, man.
Beautiful.
You see, the podcast employs,
Multi-talented.
Yeah.
She's
Fact
not
check.
a bad singer, eh?
The
She's a good
multi-talented
singer,
fact checker.
yeah.
You used to sing at church? Oh, wow. Wow. Now we need to get in the studio,
Do you
man.
know who was her pastor? Robert Boy.
Robert Boy is your pastor?
Yes.
Is there anything Robert Boy hasn't done?
Hey, Robert Boy, yeah. You say, Robert Boy is a pastor.
Yes, he's a youth pastor.
Yeah, but Rami, ice skates. He does a chokesy. He's a rapper. Podcaster. I said ice skating. He plays the keyboard, the
Yep.
piano.
Yep.
Whoa, Robert Boy is super
Ay.
multi-talented.
Yes.
Yo. I Robert.
Excellent. He just needs to walk on water now. Huh?
Sheesh, man. Tickets are available at Web Ticket.
Nice.
An author? Yes. You wrote a book that nobody read? Who read it here? Who read TUMI's book in here? So he was in the same prison as Mandela?
No, man. Mandela was at the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Restaurant
Island.
between you to say and Mafike. Now I'm gonna make enemies of women. I love you guys. I sleep with you guys. I got married. Pops is the last person you wanna have an affair with. You're gonna feel like an idiot.
It Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the First Lady of SA Comedy, TUMI MORAKE.
Hold on. Is that my intro?
Yeah.
How did you introduce Celeste if you're introducing me as the first lady?
We probably said the same thing.
Did you say a queen or did you say the first lady?
Yeah, with the-
Are we doing the Zuma style? That's fine, then we're all first ladies.
Yeah. I think we said she's a queen.
Zuma style.
No, but you are, bro. You've been rocking
you.
comedy for years.
Yeah.
Who started first? You or Celeste?
Me.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
So you are the first lady.
Yeah.
And she's the queen. She's got to work her way up, you know?
No, not even. Like, I admire Celeste. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Like, she's a freaking cannonball. Like, you know? Someone once said to me, the people you admire are the people who can do things you can't. There must be something. And I was like, I think that's exactly it. Because she fills a room before she starts speaking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
When was the first time you saw her?
So the first time I saw her was in Joburg. And it was after, I'm trying to remember. I think it was after there was a Fanta what comedy competition thing that they'd been doing. Yeah. And then I watched this girl. I was like, finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of times you watch female comedians and you're like, I'm watching a female comedian. But when you watch her, you're like, I'm watching a comedian.
Yeah.
Gender doesn't come
But
in.
I get the same vibe with you. Like when I see your shows, I don't get like, oh, this is a female comedian. I just see a comedian, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the way it should be, right?
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
It's just because there's so few of us, we're like rhinos, we're endangered, in fact.
Yeah.
So I think that's why people expect something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not only are you a comedian, you're an actress.
Yes.
You're a TV personality.
I am. Yes.
You're an author.
Yes.
You wrote a book that nobody read. Who read it here? Who read Tumi's book in here?
The one about Mother, the title is Mother Said.
And then Mama said.
And then Mama Said. I know the title. I haven't
Some
You see,
people
no one read it.
Some people sent me messages on social media and they said they read it.
Oh, Mac.
I
Very
got
nice.
longlisted for an Ellen Payton Award for that book.
Whoa, for real. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a
Yeah.
prestigious award.
What award is that?
Ellen Payton, man.
It's a literary award.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was nominated.
I'm illiterate, so I wouldn't
And
know.
people have listened to the audiobook of my book and messaged me as far as Australia to say, oh my God, that was so beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Did you
some
make money
people
from that
have.
book?
No, but that's not why I wrote it.
Yeah.
I felt like, so funny enough, I'd always been planning on writing a book, right? And then this whole Jacaranda thing happened. And when the Jacaranda blow up happened, I realized there are people who think they know me, then there are people who've heard about me, but everybody has a story about me, and that's not me. And then there are people who think I just happened to happen, and Jacaranda was the first time the industry met me. So I was like, I want to write a book that kind of sets the record straight and tells people who the F I am. Because from their perspective, I remember them saying, no, this also blew up because our audience don't know you. So when you said what you said, you know, it sounded like you're on the offense, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like,
Yeah. Let me show you.
let me tell my own story. So if nobody's read the book, it's fine.
No, I'm kidding,
but there are people who've read it who matter. And my favorite response to my book has always been, thank you for being so honest. Thank you for making me feel like the struggle will pass, you know? Because that's really what my book is about. We're in a bullshit industry where all you see is the girls once they've made it. That's what they sell you, you know? And then you have the it girls who you can't pinpoint how they made their money, but here they are securing bags. And so these young girls come in with these expectations and then they think they're doing something wrong because they're not walking a red carpet, they're not driving some car. So I also wrote this book to kind of go, hey, Mona, this industry is not what it looks like. You have to arrive here strong, arrive here thick-skinned, and don't let where you're from dictate unless it's dictating as your strength. Don't let it be your weakness. Because I came here with my accent, with my chubbiness, you know, with the way I look. And I remember the first time I auditioned for anything, this lady saying to me, the problem is you don't have a look. You don't have an archetype. We don't even know how to cast you.
What
We
the
don't know.
fuck? What's the look?
And I was like, what is the look? What must I? Because she was like, you're not big enough for you to cast you as the big girl in the thing, but you're not thin enough for us to cast you as the hot girl.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I got into writing. And as I got into writing, I started writing my own parts.
Yeah.
So when the auditions rolled around, I'd say to the producers, yeah, but can I read for this part? Because you know that's me.
Yeah.
And then I'd audition for the part and they'd be like, yeah, you know you wrote yourself that part. It's yours. You know?
Yeah.
And that's how Is Also Connection happened.
Yeah.
Because finally I got a role that made people notice me.
Yeah.
You know? And then I grew from there where people went, okay, give her a chance. Actually, she can act.
And I'm glad you brought that up. Do you think your resilience, because you've been through a lot in your career, man, like from social media bashing, from the Jacaranda thing, from everything, you know, that has happened. You've lost a lot of people along the way.
Yeah.
Do you think that resilience is from your parents? Because they were freedom fighters, if I'm not mistaken, eh?
Yeah. I think so. I think in my DNA, Nje, I've got my dad's resilience and stubbornness and my mother's resilience and stubbornness and voice. I've got very much my mother's voice. Nothing comes easy. And when it comes easy, I grab a hold of it as quickly as I can because I'm like, let me ride this wave for now until I have to, rough it for the next one. So, yeah, I mean, I remember my dad telling me how one of the things that drove him to join the struggle was one day as a young man, he was on his way to the post office and these white dudes just came and effed him up for no reason.
For real?
No reason, And he was so hurt by it.
Yeah.
Because, he was dressed nice, sent to town by his mom. And now, by virtue of his blackness, he just got beaten up.
Jeez.
And I was like, that's insane. He's like, yeah, there's many stories.
So what did he join, ANC?
Yeah, so he was in the ANC, he was underground, and he was a cop in Bophuthatswana. We lived in Mafikeng, and one day my dad, somebody had ratted him out, so he disappeared. He went underground. So it was just my mother and I. And because they couldn't find my dad, because he literally disappeared without a trace.
Yeah.
They decided to arrest my mom.
Sure.
And as soon as my dad found out that my mom was arrested and he was being told that she's been tortured, he was like, no way, not a fuck. He handed himself over and he was like, I need to know that she's fine.
Sure.
Prove to me she's fine before you even take me in.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think
why was he arrested? Why did they want him?
for treason.
For treason.
Yeah, he was arrested for treason.
Yeah.
And so was my mom at the time. So she spent about 6 months in jail. And then after that 6 months, obviously she lost her job. She was a nurse. So she went to Haruna and she went and demanded her job back. She went straight to the Minister of Health and went, can I have my job back? There's a child I must feed.
Yeah.
And I can't feed that child if I'm unemployed.
Yeah.
And they gave her back her job.
And how long was your dad in prison for?
My dad was in prison from 87 until, no, not 87, I lied, 88, until just after Mandela was released.
No way.
Yeah. He was in Rooigrond prison. I used to visit him in prison.
Yeah.
That was hard. Yeah.
So he was in the same prison as Mandela?
No, man. Mandela was not in Rooigrond.
Oh, yeah.
Rooigrond is there between Itsoseng and Mafikeng. Mandela was in a whole other province.
They're all the same.
Just like it's a prison. And that place now is like it's a what do you call them? What's the highest security prison? It's that.
Oh,
Maximum.
okay.
Maximum prison, yeah. It's one of those
shit.
maximum what?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I drove by last time. I wanted to check it out, and they're like, yeah, we don't just let people.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
And then when you came out of prison, what did he do? Like, was it just life as normal or?
jeez, I remember crying so much because our house in Gulfview was the first place he came. And I believe we had just buried my stepfather. And my mom wasn't there. So when my dad came, I was so excited. And as a kid, you're going, my dad's back, But he had to leave. And I'm like, but how are you leaving? You're home. You're
just
out
came
of
back.
prison, And he was like, yeah, I'll call you, whatever. It was very emotional for me. Then my mom came back from work. And I was like, my dad is here. Papa's out. My mother was so indifferent. It freaking shattered me. It's like, how do you not care?
Yo.
The guy's back. And I suppose that's when I started to realize, dog, for a couple of years you lived with a whole other dude who lived with your mom. Of course, your parents aren't together. It's just in the excitement of my dad's out of jail, it was like we're going back to normal with my mom, my dad, and me. But that wasn't the case.
So when your dad went to prison, your mom and your dad were still fine. They hadn't separated.
I think there were tensions between them already. And I think this added to it. Because my dad was telling me about how actually he had arranged for my mom to also be sent out to exile. And, you know, I would have been left with my grandmother. But his plan was she must go. She can go study, be a doctor, whatever, and she'll come back when obviously things are better. And my mom, being my mom, was like, I'm not leaving my mother. I'm not leaving my child.
Of course,
I'm not
of course.
leaving my life. No. And so she stayed. And they got divorced somewhere in between. I don't know. You know, as a child, we like to go through our parents' things.
Yeah.
So I found the divorce decree by accident
Yeah.
sometime when I was going through her shit. And I was like, oh my God.
This is happening.
This is happening. And there, my mother got me. She got custody. And yeah, it was just weird. Like, I wish Black parents spoke to their kids and went, me and dad were not cool anymore. It's over, you know? Not for us to have to read the room, do 1 + 1 = 3. You know what I mean?
And how was your stepfather? Like, did you guys get along?
Yeah, he was right. He was very rich. He ran like a long distance taxi thing. He was the chairperson of the something long distance taxi association. I got to meet famous people through him.
Like who?
Like Blondie Magene.
Whoa.
Like, yeah. And there was this other group that sang as well back in the day. They were huge. I can't remember. I got to go to Chico Twala's house.
Chico!
Yeah, like he was rolling deep. Kensani Mabas.
Eh.
Yo, I know he was in.
Eh.
I got to sleep in nice hotels.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's my half sister's dad.
Yeah. And then your name that they gave you, your parents, what does it mean?
Relopile.
Relopile.
So, you know, Batswana, when we name people, it's a sentence and a story. So my name is Relopile Bitumelo, which means we prayed for joy.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes. But proper Batswana, like Connie Ferguson, who laughed her ass off when she first heard my name.
Okay.
So how Rolopile also means you're saying you're horny. You've got a bone. It's like saying you've got a boner. So the way Connie laughed, right? Tears running down her face. She's like, your name is what? You know what your name means? I'm like, listen, my name is biblical, okay?
Yeah. But isn't it sad? Because in the end, they didn't find joy, you know, because they separated and whatnot.
They found me.
Nah.
They did find joy. I bring joy. I believe I bring joy. And every time my mom and my dad were together with me in the space after they split, it was laughter all around.
Oh, so you brought the joy.
I brought the joy. And then when they separate, they'll talk cack about each other.
Yes,
but when
yes,
we're all
yes.
in the same space. The last time I was with them together, because my mom passed away a few years ago, when I was in the same space with them together, I realized they were so similar. I don't even think without the struggle they would have still stayed together. They would have split. They were too similar. Way too similar. They very funny. They have great comic timing. They are very people's people. Short tempers, but the loveliest people you'll ever meet. You know what I mean?
How did your mom pass away?
So my mom was bipolar. But she was a very intelligent bipolar, as most bipolar people are.
Yeah.
And so she had been messing with her medical records. So when she got sick, she had some issues with hypertension. It's like the medicine came together and made a poison in her body. And so she ended up in hospital. They had to put on dialysis.
Jeez.
And then after the dialysis, she'd been on her back for so long, she contracted pneumonia, right? So her lungs had filled up with liquid and whatever. And so that's what finally took her life. Yeah.
That must have been tough because you were so close with your mom, man.
Yeah, I started mourning my mom when she was alive, though. So it was hard, but it was also not that hard.
Oh, okay.
Because I had to start mourning my mom when she lost her mind. You know, I had to mourn the mom I knew. Because suddenly, instead of having a mom taking care of me, I was taking care of my mom, you know. So by the time she passed away, you know, she had said to me, because I could see this wasn't going to end well. And I was like, Mama, please don't die on me. I'm not ready. And she's like, baby, I'm not the dying type. I was like, Danko Tebsa? Yeah, I'm not the dying type. And so, you know how I knew my mom was definitely going to pass away? Was when my aunt called me to say, we're taking your mom to the hospital. She's really not well. And when I got on the phone with my mom, she went, yeah, to me, we're going to hospital. And I went, my mother is dying. My mother hated hospital. My mother was a nurse who refused to go to hospital for anything. So to hear my mom say, I'm going, I was like, yeah, no, it's sure. And so when she passed away that morning, I woke up with such a, it was between 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning, and I woke up with such a start. And I said to my husband, I have to go home. I have to go home to my mom. And so that morning I get a call that she passed away. And I asked, what time did she pass away? And she passed away in that time between 2 and 3 a.m.
Goodness, yes.
It's like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Was stepdad in the picture by then?
Stepdad passed away in 1992.
Whoa.
1991, 1992.
Wow.
And your dad, what happened to your dad?
My dad is still there. He's in Bloemfontein.
Your dad's still alive?
My dad is still alive.
No way.
He tells the best stories from the struggle. Like the best. He's got romance stories. He's got ridiculous stories. He's got legends. There's a legend of this guy who by himself, bruh, like, I don't know how many of those cops he shot and killed and that surrounded him, and he was by himself. He had artillery. They thought there were 10 black men in there. After they finally shot down and they confirmed that there was no life inside that place, they found one guy.
And that was
surrounded by artillery, and there was that guy. No, my dad has stories. I was like, yo, we must do a film with just you telling these stories, and we'll get actors to reenact them.
Tell us what about the romantic things that used to happen, because no one ever talks about that.
Oh, the romantic one that he told me, there are many. Yeah. My favorite one is there were these two, what do you call them, MKs, who were stationed in Botswana. And somebody sent a letter bomb. So this dude saw this woman starting to open that letter bomb. He ran in and grabbed it from her. The thing exploded in his hands, and he lost his hands. Yeah. And so she hooked up with him and took care of him from that time onwards, and they've been together ever since.
Wow.
I was like, so romantic. There's another one who went and got married in exile, but he had left the love of his life here. As soon as freedom came, he was like, danko. It was good.
Juices.
And he went back to the love of his life. Like, yo, that's rough.
Oh, that's wild, but it's crazy how you can find love in such a weird time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jeez, that's wild. I heard that when you were younger, you wanted your skin to be darker. Is that true?
Yeah, I did.
Jeez, why?
I hated being yellow. I didn't like the kind of attention you get when you're yellow. And I loved dark skin. I don't know why. It just looked so nice, man. It made sense, you know? And I think I was a little bit woke as well. In
the 60s.
So it was in the 60s. Kante, how old are you making? This guy. Because, you know, back in those days, I mean, this is the 80s. I loved Maralo.
Yeah.
And you know Maralo's complexion. Like, no chocolate. chocolate. I wasn't seeing lots of yellow. Yellow was white in my eyes, you know? Yeah. And so I used to put polish, brown polish, black polish. I tried to be black, you know? Even in high school, I actually burnt. I tried to tan. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so tanning is not for me because I just get a sunburn. Yeah. I don't get darker.
Wow, man. Speaking of high school, I saw a picture on your Instagram that I want to talk about. Okay. Have you seen this picture? So,
nah.
Please show me the picture there.
You know, yeah. I knew you were going to bring it up, but I was like, I'm sure he's forgotten. We're flowing.
Look at this picture, dog. It's just TUMI here. Ne? She's the only girl here. And there's 3 niggas. There's one, I'm Chiri Rupida. What was going on here?
We were What did they call themselves? They used to call themselves the something cartel, executive cartel or something. Yeah. That's Paul Disetelo, Tsepo, I can't remember his surname, and the late Dise Linkwe. Yeah. Yeah.
So the guy in the middle is your boyfriend?
He wasn't my boyfriend at all.
So why is he holding you like that?
Because he was like that. You know that those guys. Yeah, he was just like that.
You weren't loose in high school, ne? Were you?
No, I wasn't. But it's only because, for some reason, guys didn't take me seriously. I feel like guys didn't see me as a sex object for a while. Maybe as I approached high school.
Yeah, because you look like a tomboy vibe.
Yeah, I was wearing baggy pants. Yeah. And, you know, me with my short hair. I forgot to put my phone in silent, Askis. Yeah. Yeah, so I was one of the boys for so long. I don't think they really saw my sexy for a while. Yeah. It kind of hurt my ego a bit. Yeah. But...
Were you sexually active in that picture? Or you hadn't started yet, ne?
Oh no, by then, I had been statutory raped the year before. So technically I wasn't a virgin anymore.
Jeez. I've never heard about that. What happened there?
Oh, geez, there was this guy, he was in varsity, and so we'd gone to do, it was one of those freshers party, what things. And so there were these guys who used to rap, and the guys by Motswako were there and whatever. So me and my friends had gone because we were friends with, some of those guys. And there was a guy who was in the varsity, Kenny, and I had such a crush on him.
Yeah.
We'd worked in the same hair salon.
Yeah.
And so he spotted me in the crowd and we got to talking. I was like, come, let's go to my room.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to his room. I'm like, yes, it's happening finally.
Yeah.
And then we got to his room and, we got to making out. Oh, he said he's going to get me a belt because I was wearing very baggy pants. And he was like, this is some bullshit. That was his line.
Yeah.
And that's when we went to his room. And so we're making out and this shit is exciting for me.
Yeah. It's the first time and he's your crush,
Yeah, I'm like, it's happening. And he's older, so it's everything. Like, look at me. Yeah. Nobody in high school looks at me, but look at this varsity guy, sees me as a sex bomb. Yeah. I'm ready, So he's playing Jodie C's Freaking You.
Yo.
That used to be my favorite song.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Yeah.
Because every time it played in the salon, I used to put on a performance bra, So he put that song on. But now he starts coming on strong. And that time I'm like, actually, no, it's fine. I've always dreamed about making out with you. That's as far as it goes. Like, hot. Ooh, I'm taking this feeling with me. Yo, moto a forcer, a pusher. And so he raped me. Right? And obviously you can't scream at that time because you're shocked. Because there was a time I pushed him off and then I ran to the door and then he ran to the door and he locked it. And I was like, hey, man, this thing's actually happening. This guy's not playing. Yeah. Yeah. This is when he pushed me on the bed and my pants were easy to take off because they were baggy as fuck.
Of course.
And then...
Jeez, and how does that affect the rest of your life? Like, how do you view sex after that? Do you feel like every man is trying to rape you or force themselves?
Yeah, it was hard to trust men after that. Sure. It was also hard to tell anyone it happened because I was like, now I must explain why I was at Unibo at night in a guy's dorm. So in my head, I was like, nobody's going to believe me. They're going to go, you went to his room. What did you expect? And you went at night. What did you expect? And so I didn't tell anyone for a while. The first person I told was my English teacher. And she was like, we need to get you counseling. And then I spoke to a girl who was a neighbor. And she was like, yeah, that guy's rapey.
Is it?
Yeah. And so I told her what happened. And I don't know. It used to break me. I used to cry every time I had to talk about it. But I think the more I did the therapy and spoke about it and named him, I kind of made peace with it.
What do they teach at therapy to get over something like that?
You have to, it's almost like you relive the trauma.
Okay.
But you have to take yourself away from the guilt. You have to...
Because you're the victim.
Yeah, and I hate being a victim. It's just not my vibe. It's not in my DNA to be a victim.
Yeah.
So I consider myself a survivor. And so it was getting past that and then just understanding my sexuality as well again and how I relate to men sexually, Yeah.
Is that why you started being attracted to women?
No, I was attracted to women before then.
Yeah,
I was attracted to women before then. How do you know I'm attracted to women?
Hey, man. I know things.
He claims he hasn't read my book. Liar.
Back to back, he's read it. So have you seen the guy much later in life? How's the interaction between the two of you?
I haven't seen him. I sometimes even wonder if he's still alive. No, I haven't seen him. I haven't wondered. I used to be afraid of bumping into him. But no, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Isn't it weird how, like, the mere fact that someone took something from you that you didn't consent to, but because, like you said, because you went to his room, it's like he didn't rape you. You knew what you wanted to do. But at the end of the day, you said no, and you don't want him to do it. That's crazy, right?
But it was that thing of I didn't scream, I didn't fight. So it was it took me a while to go, it's not your freaking fault. You know, you were afraid. That was clearly your response. You're not a screamer. You pushed, you ran, he won. You let him do what he was going to do because he was going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what also freaked me out after that was when you get into support groups, it's shocking how many women have been raped.
Yeah.
How many women have not been raped by strangers? Because he wasn't a stranger to me. And a lot of the women who I've met who've been on that journey were not raped by strangers. You know? So that also made me very wary of dudes.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Every woman I know has been raped. Is it the same with you, so?
Yeah, a lot of women I've interacted with, definitely. They all have stories of either an attempted rape. And some as young as when they were like 5, 6.
Yeah,
It's ugly, bro.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
ugly.
Yeah.
And as because we both have girl childs, man. Like, I think about that every day. I'm like, geez, bringing a girl into this world with so much fucking evil.
Yeah, but my daughter is such a badass. I'm like, yes, I wish I was like you. Like, I was worried. Now I'm not. And, you know, just going back to this thing about how many women have been raped and stuff, I think it's bullshit that we talk about how many women have been raped. We should talk about how many men have raped. The bullshit is the
conversation changes.
Because you're giving us the action. We're not the fucking action.
Carrying it.
We are not the ones who instigated this thing. They did. So don't talk about how many women have been raped. It's not 9 in 10 women are raped every day. 9 in 10 men are fucking raping every day. Talk about that. Change how
it changes
tell
the narrative.
the story. It changes
Yeah.
the narrative.
Yeah.
You know? And I have a serious disdain, dislike, and just, I detest women who lie about rape.
Woo!
Hey.
When you've been through it, when you've had to counsel little girls who've been through it, when you've had to see people who've violently gone through it, because after that, there was another attempted rape on me, but this one was violent by a stranger. I was going home, it got darker quicker than expected. And literally, as I was about to black out, when this guy was strangling me, someone came and jumped him.
Sure.
And took me home safely. So when I hear of these women who go and falsely accuse men of rape, it upsets me. Because I have friends who have messaged me, you know, and especially when that Me Too thing was happening.
Yeah.
And they're like, why are you so quiet? Why aren't you saying something? Because we know you've been there.
Yeah.
And I go, the danger of bandwagons is I don't know what people's ulterior motives are. I don't want to follow a damn trend. When I've supported women who've been abused and children and the work I've done, it's not been to trend. It's not been because it's currently fashionable.
Yes.
It's been because I actually give a shit.
Yeah.
So I refuse to take part in those trends.
Yeah.
And judge me all you want. I refuse. I will take part in an actionable thing that we're talking about. I'm not going to take part in hitting a like, using a hashtag so the hashtag can trend. I want to do something that's going to make a difference. And so I really hope if these girls, if they're watching, who go, I know how I'm going to get that motherfucker. I'm going to say he raped me.
Yeah.
Think about the real victims and what you're taking away from them. What the stories you're taking away from us. The pain that we have to deal with. And the men who actually support us through this shit. Because when you do this, you're murkying the water so badly that now we have to work doubly extra hard to fight our cases when we've been hurt. That's what you're doing. You're fucking it up for all of us. That's why our children don't come forward anymore.
Yeah.
Because this thing has turned into a damn circus. It upsets me, bruh.
Yeah. It's like a card that anyone can use at any time. Like,
Dog.
you know what I mean? And it's bad. It's terrible.
And there are so few of them doing that and so many who are genuinely survivors and victims who need help.
100%.
So many.
The balance
But
is...
these little shits are the ones who end up making the noise because you know what? Those sick assholes who want this shit to continue are going to amplify that. So it needs to stop. And we need to take those women on. As women, we need to take those women on ourselves. We can't just leave it to our men. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think about the feminazi movement?
What feminazi now? I don't know.
Ne?
I've always had a problem with feminism, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I feel like anything that came from a white woman and then we try as Black African women
To
to
inherit
take on,
it. Yeah.
they don't make us part of their struggle.
They have different struggles.
Yeah, when we're talking suffrage, it was about them. Then we're like, oh, even us, they're like, whoa, we're talking about us, white women. You know, so that's the birth of feminism. Then you'll hear about Black feminism. Then you'll hear about third world feminism. And I'm like, listen, I have nothing against feminists. I even call my husband a Black. I'm like, when are you a male feminist? Because he's always like, you know, championing women.
Yes.
The first one to get angry
Yeah.
when a woman has been wronged.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing
Kudos
wrong with
to him.
that. But I need us to understand where feminism comes from and what its function is. And to go and say, I'm going to jump behind every woman who jumps and call it feminism is nonsense. It's like meritocracy, where you go, no, I'm going to hire them because they're Black, their qualifications don't matter. It's the same thing here. I'm going to follow you because they're a woman and support you because we're both women, we both have vaginas. No. I really feel like the way we're going to strengthen feminism is by going, our identity is not dependent on men and it's not dependent on what we do to men. It's about us standing on our own and our own autocracy. Then I will follow you as a feminist movement. And when you're going, let's find solutions among ourselves for the shit that's happening, that's the kind of feminism I'm down for. All of this other mob mentality, let's cancel them. I think things have fallen on top of each other. As a country, I think we're confused. Because I think even wokeness informs this kind of feminism that we're seeing right now. Because wokeism as well, as someone who lives in the US, I can tell you now, Black Lives Matter is about it's about African American lives. It's not about all Black lives in the world. So I feel like stay in your lane, and let's have our language and culture as a country, even though the world has become one globally when we're on social media. Just remember where we are and how we talk. Because our struggle is not their struggle. They don't give a flying fuck.
They don't care about us, bro.
They don't care about us.
Yeah.
Because I do feel there is a movement that needs to happen here of men in power who are taking advantage of a lot of women.
100%.
It's there.
Yeah.
And we're not going to address it if we go, let's follow the hashtag movement, a hashtag Me Too movement of America. That's a beast on its own.
Bro, it's crazy. It starts in America, but it affects us in South Africa.
Yeah, because I guess it's like rap music. Isn't that how we arrived here and then? So I don't know if we can find our own Amapiano way around this thing. You know how piano came in?
Yeah.
This is our signature, this is our DNA.
Yeah.
And then the world must follow.
Yeah.
We need to find a way of empowering our women that way.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, because the struggles of a South African woman and American Black women are two different
They're not the
struggles.
same.
But we're inheriting Black women's struggles in America and trying to bring it here. I agree with you. What do you think, so?
100%.
Bro, you're preaching, man.
Anyway, now I'm going to make enemies with women. I love you guys. I sleep with you guys when I got married. But I love us. I wish we spoke in a unified voice because I feel like we abuse us. We are the ones who see abahlola. It's not men who go, we're going to go hlola your virginity. It's us. You know, it's us who are pushing. I don't know if they still do it when they were saying we'll give you bursaries if you're a virgin. And I'm like, how does a dude prove he's a virgin? Because if I'm a girl, you're going to open me up and look for a hymen.
Yeah.
How does a dude prove he's a virgin then?
Yeah, you must trust him.
You gotta be a hype man to trust a man just
I
saying
don't
he's a
know.
virgin.
I don't know. I try not to take part in these conversations for that very reason. I think it's very complex.
Yeah.
I think we're hurting. And I think,
Isn't it crazy that your book, which you wrote about 5 years ago, ne?
Yeah.
You mentioned this, sexual assault, you mentioned mental health. Isn't it crazy how, till this day, those things are still happening? And I think they're rife right now.
Yeah. The mental health thing, I think, is highlighted because for the first time, the pandemic was the great equalizer. People who did not understand they couldn't understand how you can be miserable, but you have so much in your life.
Yeah.
And then they got to see it when they had to be in a space for a long time and kind of feel the walls closing in on them, losing jobs, not being sure what's going to happen tomorrow, realizing their relationships are fucked, and realizing they can't run away from it, and then having to be faced with themselves. And so I feel like it's more rife now because we see each other more. You know, the pandemic separated us from each other. And now that we're back in each other's space, we're going, it's actually rough.
Yeah.
Because when I struggled with depression, I don't think I hid it. I'm a talker. If I'm angry, everybody must know.
Yeah.
If I'm happy, if I'm sad, everybody must know. And it was a hard time, especially when I had to be on pills. Because that shit switches you off. You can't be angry, you can't be excited. I just felt nothing. And I was like, I can't function like this. Take me off this shit. I'll do therapy, fine. Just take me off this shit. You know.
So the pills, which pills are these?
I can't even remember. There was some kind of antidepressant that just switched me off.
Yeah, so you take them like every day.
Yes, I take them every day. And you know, you also can't just stop them.
Okay.
Because you're messing with yourself chemically.
Yeah.
And because I'd seen my mom do it to herself, I knew I can't just go off the drugs. So they put me on them gradually, and I was on them for a few months. And then I said, I want to go off them. So I had to gradually be weaned off them because I didn't want now my system to jolt, you know? So now, and also I think we label everything too much. Part of the reason also there's so much mental health issues, we label everything and then it becomes bigger than it is sometimes, you know? Because I go, if somebody died, of course you're sad. You should be sad.
Yes.
Don't label that clinical depression. Somebody died.
It's normal.
It's normal. Let's try to separate the issues. You know what I mean? You can be down. It's okay. That's how you enjoy your ups.
100%.
But you should know that it's not normal to not want to get out of bed and not want to see the sun and not want to speak to anyone and not want to bath and not want to eat and just want to stay in there and just be in a dark space. Because that's what happens to me. That's when I know I'm not down, I'm depressed.
Not you, Tumi. You're such a bubbly.
Suicidal thoughts. Yeah, but the problem is that I absorb people's energies.
Okay.
So when I'm around a lot of people with angst, I either go home with a headache or tired.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think in that time, I actually hadn't processed my mom's passing.
For sure.
Because my mom passed away. Then my sister-in-law passed away. Then my grandmother passed away. And through all of this, I was like, I'm sad now. 2 weeks. We've buried. Yeah, okay. I'm out. You know? And I think it all came to a head. And then my marriage was just going through the most.
Not your marriage.
My friend.
Sure.
And so all of these things came to a head. And I think at some point, Project TUMI was like, we're downing tools. We can't.
Did social media have a part to play?
Not really, man. You know why social media has never actually broken me, dog?
Yeah.
They don't pay my bills.
Yeah.
You don't go to bed with me. You don't know me. I'm like, are you not my mother who born me?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll hurt a little bit. It depends on what they've said. I think the one time I remember being truly, truly upset, it was someone speaking about my child. And I got really upset. I was like, I'm going to find you. I'm going to find your IP address and I'm going to freaking punch you in the throat. I think that's the only time. And also when I was being body shamed, when I was still doing OPW, and that was the first season before they fell in love with me and then moved away from MacG. And that was also, as a comedian, and I've never really cared about how I look. It's been how funny I am. My talent has always come before everything
craft,
else. My craft has come before everything else. So when suddenly I was being, the attention was on my body, that effed me up for a little bit. But it's never depressed me because I still go, that's somebody else's child, bruh. They probably said that shit and moved on. They don't even remember they said it. Now I'm still sitting here with the pain of what they said. Oh, they're out there on to the next thing.
On to the next person.
I refuse to stay there. I refuse.
Well, how do you think a celebrity should handle social media in this day and age?
You need that thing. We get paid for endorsements, for people to post for them and whatever. You need it. It's work. So tell yourself that is a con of the work that we do on social media. And also remember, you have a following because of your talent and whatever you've done. They need the following by shitting on you so people can follow them because, look, they can access this person and touch them. Because the minute they can see your touch, that's when then they all follow.
They come in.
Yeah.
The floodgates are open.
So you must decide as someone in the industry, do you want to give other people clout by them using your handle to harass you and abuse you so that they can look cool? Fuck them. You don't pay my bills. If you're not going to change the price of bread, I don't give a fuck what you're going to say on social media.
I love that, man. I love that. But you're still on social media now.
I starve. I need to eat. I need to eat. I need to know what's happening in the world. So, I do things with the alcohol brands and what. I can't not be on social media. I've got a movie coming out. I must sell my movie. I can't not be on social media. So, and even those shitty people, we need them because then they'll comment on that thing with their nonsense, but more people will see it and then they'll come and watch the movie. Me, I'm like, guys, it's about the end goal. This thing is a game. Even those people are being nasty, this thing is a game. And the minute it starts getting to you, stay away from it. Do a detox. I do a detox once in a while because then there are times I can feel myself becoming ugly because you start doing those, it's like a motivational quote, but it's like it's a subtweet.
You're rocking.
So when I start seeing Raiman to me, when I'm going in the direction of like, this is a punch, I go, okay, let me step back.
Before we talk about your husband, why is everyone going overseas like comedians? Because we had Loisa Gola the other day. He's relocated to London. You in Atlanta now, ne?
Yeah. He's been in London for a while, though.
Yeah, Loisa's been there for a while.
Yeah.
Why are all comedians like relocating?
I didn't want to relocate, to be honest. But my husband wanted to. It's a conversation we had from before we even got married. Because he'd been to New York and he was like, America is the place to be.
Wow.
So we were going to move to New York and then the pandemic happened. And then the budget was like, New York is not make sure.
Wait, weren't you stuck in America
Atlanta.
during the first 2 weeks, ne?
Yeah, the first year.
First year?
2 weeks. I spent a year. I was still on Motsweding FM, bruh. I would broadcast all the way from Virginia because we were in New York. And then when they were shutting down New York, we were like, there's no way we're going to be shut down in New York. We're going to catch this thing. So we went to Virginia. And so we were in Virginia for a year.
Jeez.
And I used to broadcast to breakfast.
And the whole family is there.
The whole family. And the kids are doing great. Me, I'm taka-taka-ring. Comedy is not a joke. The industry is so huge.
Oh, in America?
Yeah, in America that in New York, I know I can play. I get on the stages I want to get onto. I get the kind of time I want. In Atlanta, it's still hard. It's very cliquey. I find it very cliquey. So there, I'm a little bit miserable.
Yeah.
But I'm getting to audition for big shows and stuff.
Nice. Fuck, that's dope to
me. The kids are, to be honest, I would have been back here by this year. I would have been like, I'm out, it's cool. You stay there, sir, I'll come this side. But because the kids are doing well, I'm like, okay, I'll give this thing a damn chance. And also because my husband's doing well. Like now he did the Outer Banks with Netflix and he was in Resident Evil.
Evil?
Yeah, so he's working and he does voiceovers there because he's got the accent down. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was about to ask, how much money do you have to stay in America for a year?
Oh, no, honey, see, I don't play. Shit.
We can't even stay there for a week, so.
Guys,
bro.
guys, let me tell you something. I am not a celebrity.
Yeah.
I am not here to shine on a red carpet.
Yeah.
I was very clear about why I wanted to be in this industry. Yeah. And my success, the first thing I remember I said was, I will never be a starving artist.
Yeah.
And I've never been a starving artist.
Shout out.
From my student days at Wits to now. Even when I got kicked out of Wits because I couldn't pay school fees, I was still never a starving artist. And I've always promised myself that. Yeah. When I make money, the reason I don't drive fancy cars, 10 of them parked outside my house, is because I'm building here. I want a comfortable life. What other people see, I don't care. It's about what am I enjoying. I like a nice life. I like to pour petrol without checking how much it costs.
Hey,
that's the kind of life I like, where I'm gonna pay rent or pay bond or you know what I mean? So that's me. That's how I treat my money. So
and that money is long. Damn.
Stay for a year. And so what happened is now when things started to lighten up, it's about a rebuilding now, all that rainy day money. I'm like, now I must repack the coffers. I chout the coffers in America. But when I do my work, I give a damn, I do a lot of, so my corporate clients, I take very good care of them.
Nice.
My business with the family, we make sure we take care of that. So, yeah.
And white people love you, man. You and Anela, same WhatsApp group. Oh, they
really?
love you. They love
but
you.
me, they're like touch and go.
Well, after Chakaranda,
because I'm not as safe a black as they thought. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Token black girl.
TUMI. Like, Yeah. So it's touch and go.
Yeah.
I guess I have a line and I'm very clear.
Yeah.
And like Anele, for me, I admire how she does because she also fucking draws the line.
She does.
She's clear about who
And they're
the F
scared of
is and
her,
what she'll
bro.
do and what she won't
They
do.
love her, but
Yeah.
they're scared of her. They
Scared of
respect her, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt this Anel FM, bro.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have much respect for her. So I guess, I don't know if I'm similar to her.
Yeah.
But I take care of the people I work for and I try and keep those relationships going.
So why are you back in SA? Are you pushing the movie?
Yeah, I'm pushing the movie though.
Oh, okay.
I'm pushing the movie, but also I came here we were doing a campaign as well, a 7-week campaign with an alcohol brand. I don't know if I can say it.
Yeah, you can,
Don't
of
want
course.
to disrespect your platform. I'm not saying about ganja, yeah. Can't be talking about other booze.
No, it's about you, man. You can mention it, definitely.
So we're doing this Castle Light campaign,
Nice,
Bad News
nice.
Bingo with Eugene Koza. So I came to do that. And obviously when people hear I'm here, then obviously it goes, but I've got to cooperate. And then you start doing that stuff. So I'm just here to push the film.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm done with that, I'm heading back to the States. Because like I said, my kids are there. They're doing great. My 14-year-old now just got into this Harvard speaking program.
Whoa, Harvard.
I'm like, you're 14, dog. What are you?
Damn.
That guy, let me tell you, he gets to a new school. He's already middle school president. He's debate captain. He won the spelling bee.
What the
I was like,
fuck?
and like,
You got a genius.
I was like, you need to lose at something, dog. You're doing too well, you know?
You're doing too much.
Like, you're gonna put him in the gifted program like it's too much. Slow down, Africa. Slow down, you know? So, yeah, he's thriving. My middle child as well is playing soccer. Plays for his age group and the higher age group.
Wow,
like
that's
he's just
beautiful,
he's
man.
a young CR7, that one.
Yeah.
And then my daughter as well. She's in the 3rd grade, but they take her to the 5th grade.
Whoa.
Yeah, 'cause
In
they're
America?
Like, yeah, in America, bro. I'm like, yeah. Either America is too easy or my kids are super smart. Because also as a parent, don't be in denial. Don't be like, I'm a genius. You also have to go, wait, something, just not make sure.
Yeah.
So I think it's a balance between the education system here. Here they were in private school.
Yeah.
So obviously they have a very strong foundation. So by the time they get there, because they're in baccalaureate schools.
Yeah.
So I think they arrive. Because when my son, my firstborn, when he left, already I knew he's flying high.
Yeah.
Because there's this test they take. This is, I think, I can't remember what it's called, but it's taken by the kids in South Africa, the kids in Australia, and the kids in the UK.
Yeah.
And I think he placed like 2nd or something. Wow. And I was like, okay, Wena.
He's gone.
Yeah, you are my Balenciaga bags and my Bugatti Veyron.
Thank goodness he doesn't want to rap, bro.
Yeah, he must though, if it's piano. And then he must go to Silicon Valley.
Yes.
I'm like, if you're that genius in Silicon Valley, but you're dropping every once in a while, don't. What down?
We're rocking.
And then with my middle child as well, I'm like, okay, academics is all right, but I'm seeing the sports.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the soccer, please, you are my holidays, you are my cruise ships.
Yeah.
So please get that right. And then my daughter, I'm like, do whatever you like. Because of the world we live in, whatever you want
is fine.
You want to get married, you want to have jobs, you want a Habib. Do it, but do it conscious. You know what I mean?
I get a feeling she's your favorite, ne?
Who, my daughter?
Ne.
All of them are my favorite guy.
Ne.
Because they love to trap me with that nonsense. They'll be like, they'll get me alone and they'll go, but mom, you can tell me, I won't tell. Who's your favorite? But that's all I won't tell is obviously you want me to say you.
Yeah.
But they're my favorites in different situations. My middle child is my favorite in social situations because that's how I meet people.
Yeah.
He's the charmer.
Yeah.
My daughter is my favorite in like heart to hearts.
Yeah.
Like my daughter is so good for that. And she's like all up in this and we have these conversations, you know. And my firstborn is my favorite for thought, for depth, because he's really deep. I call him an old soul.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So they're each my favorite in different contexts.
How do you have 3 kids in 5 years, bro?
Friend, firstly, you don't sleep in tights. Secondly,
Rule number 1.
Rule number 1. Rule number 2 is a bedroom, not a boardroom. Not there to negotiate.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, middle kids always say they're the ones who struggle.
Yes,
But
I've
funny
heard
enough,
that.
my middle child is my only planned child.
Wow.
The first one, Lobola was paid and suddenly I was pregnant. I was like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
It did not. Then I called off my wedding because they were like, but you can still get married. I'm like, yeah. I'm not going to walk there like a giant meringue with a freaking tummy and no.
Yeah.
And then the last born as well was a surprise. I was supposed to go to Montreal that year.
Yeah.
And, Edinburgh and Montreal.
Yeah.
Hey, did I not find out I was pregnant? And I've done a joke about this, about taking the morning after pill.
Yeah.
It's a true story. I took the morning after pill.
Yeah.
And then a month later, I had a very long hangover. Like I went on this bender this one weekend there with my friend. A week later, I'm still like, why am I still green?
Yeah, what's going on?
And she's like, bitch, this is not a hangover. This is pregnancy. I'm like, no freaking way, bruh. I took a morning after. And so I went out to lunch one day and I was like, you know what? Let me get the pregnancy test. Let's just see.
Yeah.
This thing came back positive.
Because I heard that straight after you give birth, that's when you're at the highest of like where you can get pregnant again.
Yeah.
Ne?
Yeah, but I didn't do none of that. I mean, the only one that was very close is the last born and the firstborn. There's about a year between them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that one was pretty tight. But they're such dope kids, though. I'm so glad I had them. Like, once you get them, you go, okay, I see the investment here.
How did you meet your husband, though?
We were studying at Vets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we were crewing together. Crewing is a thing you do for credit. And I found it freaking annoying because now he was the kid, the black kid who spoke like white people. And everybody was casting him in their shows.
Yeah.
So now when we're doing the hard work, he's out there working with the seniors. And then when it's time to put it up, he's there getting credit with us. So I used to give him cack all the time.
Yeah.
Like by the end of it, he was convinced he'd been failed.
Yeah.
But he'd actually passed. But I wanted to make sure he suffers.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how we met. And so we've known each other since we were students right up until now.
How long have you been together for now?
So since 2002. So it's
Jeez.
21 years.
21 years! Fuck, that's a long time, bro.
Long time.
How do
Married
you-
14.
How do you keep things like, fresh?
Sometimes they're not.
Ne-
No, we go through shit. It's just that, we're not a very public couple that must now publicly hate each other, publicly love each other, publicly go through shit.
What do you mean? You guys have an Instagram account together?
Yeah, but when was the last time you saw us post?
Oh, yeah, no, it's
We
been-
tried that shit just because the publicist was like, no, you guys should do this thing. It's really cute. People love it. When couples, they love you as a couple. And I was like, okay. And then we tried it and I was like, no. I feel like we're that couple who, even if it was over, people will probably find out it's over 5 years after it was over. Because we're friends. We really get along and that has been the big foundation of our marriage.
Yeah, I find if you're friends with your partner, it's a good foundation from the get-go, you know?
Yeah, I always say to him, I want to be like Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, where they split, but they were so still in each other's lives that right now with Bruce going through what he's going through, Demi is there, his current
What's Bruce
wife
going
is
through?
there. You don't know. He's got... Yeah,
What's he
what's he
Yeah,
got?
he's sick.
Jeez, I didn't know that. Yeah.
And I was like, that's the kind of thing I want where, the problem with marriages nowadays and people who get married nowadays is they think when it ends, it's a failure. Someone did something, wrong, like they were inadequate in any way. I think as people, we grow and we evolve. Sometimes we don't evolve together. And when we don't evolve together, I need to move my evolution. And when you evolve, I might be somewhere else already. And that's okay. Sometimes that person was there for that time and you started something beautiful. You have kids together. And now it's time for the next chapter. And that's okay. Because people treat it as if now you're a stranger, I must cut you off. But from the couples I've seen who've split and it hasn't been a big hoo-ha, it's because we do so much better as friends than as a couple.
Do you guys have like an arrangement? Because I've seen with most celeb couples, they have like arrangements, open relationships, whatever. You can bang wherever you want. I'll bang wherever I want.
We don't have that arrangement. And I think it's because, we already come from a space where we had to deal with infidelity in our marriage.
Oh, okay.
So
from your side?
From both sides.
Whoa!
It's in the book! It's in the book! This is not even a big revelation. It's in the book!
Not do me!
Yeah, so trust is a weird thing.
Yeah.
And so when you're in a weird space together, it's that thing of we know that the next time we're in this space, we probably shouldn't still be married. It means we're actually forcing things. You know what I mean? If we are in a space again where we'd rather be with other people, let's explore that rather. Because it would mean that this thing is actually done. We're holding on to something that was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he find out? How did you find out?
The thing I always tell women, don't go through your man's shit. You will
Don't
find
go through
what
his
you're looking
phone.
for.
You will find.
You will find. So,
That's true. Facts.
yeah.
Facts.
But the sick thing about me is I kept quiet about it for a long time.
Geez.
You knew and kept
I
quiet.
sat with it, shame. I was like,
You are plotting.
Yeah, you are plotting. Also going, I'm waiting for you to just tie that rope around your feet. I need that rope. Tell you to trip yourself the fuck up.
Sure.
It's sick, I know. But because also there was so much going on. It was at a time that was so effed up for him and for me. We were in a gag space. He had suffered a massive loss. I had suffered a massive loss. I was at my biggest weight of my life. Like, it was all a mess. You know, I would have cheated on me. You know. And so it happened around that time. And it's probably part of the reason I didn't address it when I first found out.
Yeah.
And also, guys, my husband is not an asshole. He's actually the nicest human on earth.
Of course.
So also for me to go...
He's from Ghana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been to Ghana. The Ghanaians are beautiful,
man.
beautiful souls.
So I knew that this is not malice and it has nothing to do with me. And I hope chicks who are dealing with that shit right now are listening to me when I say when he cheats, it's not about you.
It isn't.
It's about
Never.
him.
It's never.
It's never.
And you guys make it about you.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing wrong? What do you want?
what's
How does
wrong
she
with
suck your
me?
dick? Like, you know?
So for a long time, I had to deal with this. Why did she suck your dick? And then I find... But then there's a thing of when you guys become careless now.
Yeah.
And that's the tripping up I talk about when you find an earring that's not yours. But then it gets a silly explanation. When a phone is stolen, you know, things. And I'm
Now
like,
you're being careless now.
now you're getting comfortable.
Yes.
And then for me, I actually didn't even think guys found me sexy or attractive.
Yeah.
Because like I say, I'd gotten to my biggest
sure.
weight ever and I'm having my kids and my career's flying. I'm making my money. I don't give a flying F.
Yeah.
And again, this is my friend. But I found someone who looked at me differently, spoke to me differently, and listened to me. And unfortunately, that went too far and then lines were crossed. And that's how that happened. You know?
Mpo Pop said that's how it happened, Val.
Pops. Nagana Pop. I don't think I could take Pop seriously if he took off his pants. Like, Pops. The way Pops has a fucking cutting, you're stupid to have an affair with Pops. Pops is the last person you want to have an affair with. You're going to feel like an idiot. But thank you for that. Because it's a younger man. I can take a younger man. But yeah, so I guess you grow through it. And I really feel like when other people start to creep in again, for me, that's the time when we should probably call it quits, but carry on raising these amazing kids and building what we're building.
So you're in a good place right now, ne?
Yeah, we're in a very good
Beautiful,
place.
ne?
Yeah.
It's so amazing that you overcame that because most couples wouldn't have, you know?
You don't really overcome it, to be honest. It's, you go through it, and every once in a while, there'll be little things that PTSD you back a bit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you work through it every day. It's a process, you know? And when it's shit, I won't lie. When it's shit, it's shit.
But I think every relationship is like that.
Yeah,
man.
ups and downs.
Yeah, ups and downs. That's part of, life and the journey that we embark.
But the time to leave is when now you're going, but it's been more fixing than enjoying. Because I don't believe we get into relationships to constantly be fixing. I don't pop the bill, that dog.
But you still
We
pump,
wanna
ne?
have fun. Yeah?
You still pump each other.
Yeah, I like sex, guys.
Ne?
Yeah, I like that thing.
Ne? I can tell.
Yeah, that thing is nice.
It's nice, ne? How
Like,
much?
I can tell when I'm dealing with someone who's not doing it. It's like, you're not.
A new experience now.
Yeah, and me, and I like toys also. So it's covered.
Wow.
Yeah, I just need a yay, and then.
How much sex are we having, like in a week?
Oh my God. I don't know, man.
Ne?
I
You've
don't
lost
keep
count.
tabs.
Huh?
You know, it's like the drinking. When it's tea time, it's tea time. You know what I mean? I don't go on every. You know, there's that when you're traveling and touring and you must use your things, that also counts as a good time.
How do you introduce sex toys in a relationship? I find it like, it's a bit taboo.
For me, I'm going, don't sleep with someone you can't talk about sex with. How are you having sex?
Yeah.
Because you need to know what to do not a standard blueprint of the way you did ballet size, the way you're gonna do me. I must guide you sometimes. Like first I must see what you're bringing. And then okay, I see what you're bringing, just take it to the left. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's tricky.
Yeah, I like what you're bringing, let's take it to the table. You know what I mean? So it needs to be a conversation. So you need to be that comfortable with someone. Because I'm going, how are you getting undressed if you're not comfortable enough to talk about it? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh man, I love that. Let's talk about your show, WTF. Used to love that show, man.
I love WTF too.
You interviewed AKA, yeah? How was that like?
It's my favorite interview ever. So before he came, I remember the team warning me. They're like, oh, he can be difficult. And AKA also. Basically, this picture was painted of this asshole who's going to be difficult. And let me just get through the show and we'll try and get him to don't push him to do anything. And then AKA arrives. Hugs, happy, needs a drink, get him a drink, this is how it's gonna work, oh my God, ha ha ha. I'm like, where's the guy you guys said I'm gonna struggle with because I like this guy? And we played and I wanted to go through his phone. I had this thing where I have to go through your DMs. So I'm like, give me your phone. The guys refuse. I'm like, bruh. Give me your phone. He's like, no, I'll do it for you. So he takes out the phone. I try and grab it. Now we're wrestling for his phone. And there's this picture where he's like this and he's laughing and I'm like bent over him. And that is my favorite memory of him. Wow. Because I was like, that's the guy I met. I met such a cool guy. We did the interview, but JR came through and I was like, this guy understands how this industry works in terms of creating personas, sticking to those personas.
He was a master at it.
He was a master at it. But you know what I really appreciated about him? He respected everybody's craft. If he comes to you, because I'd done a corporate with him before. And at that corporate, I was much bigger. So when we did WTF, he kind of didn't recognize me. I was like, but we did a thing. And then he remembered. There's this picture of us actually that we took because I was in this weird wig. Anyway, so what I appreciated about him was that he respected every space he goes into. So say what you will about him, but if he knew this is a corporate, this is the culture, this is what's expected of me, he was like that. I never saw him be an ass to anyone in that space. And it's the same thing when he came to WTF to me. When the floor manager had things to explain, the dude was listening. When I was going, we're going to play like this, he was ready. When Glenn was like, hey, AKA, I'm going to do this crazy shit. And he's like, let's do it. So for me, my sadness is that we lost a guy who not only was talented, but also epitomized what it is to be an artist who respects other people's artistry and craft. And that was dope.
And we have that missing. It's missing, bro.
It's missing, bro. People come and your ego arrives before you. And I'm like, calm down, You're with people who want to celebrate you. And we are here because the people who celebrate you want us to feed them this content. So do that. Give them that.
Give them what they want.
Give them what they want. And that's what they got. But also, that's the show that got me blocked by Bonang.
For real?
Oh, wow.
Ibanda.
Guys, we were making fun of how AKA, after the breakup, was going on and on about the rocks and how he never saw his hair. And he was going on and on. So I was like, I wanna make fun of the fact that that's all he keeps harping on. Instead, the beehive or what are they? The bee squad, whatever they are, decided that I'm attacking their queen. And I'm like, no, I'm teasing this guy about the things he's crying about. Because I remember we were going to commercial break and I was like, you know what? You don't have to wait 2 years to see me with my own hair. And then I took off my wig and everyone was gone. But the jab was at how he had been such a baby about that. I'm like, come on, how do you break up with someone and that's what you're going to bitch about, right?
And that's where respect of craft comes in. Because that's your job.
We're playing.
It's satire.
Ever since then, bruh. I was like, it's fine.
And it doesn't mean you hate Bonang.
They came for me. I've never hated her.
You know what I mean?
I still don't. I think I respect her hustle. But it was interesting how it became such a... She made me realize how certain celebrities really, really do get hyped up by their followers on social media. And they allowed that to dictate
how they
what
should
happens
move.
in real life.
100%.
And I don't think it should be that way. Don't give them that much power because the day they turn on you...
You're right.
And we've seen them turn on their own celebrities.
We get that a lot, me and Sol. Like, if an artist releases an album, we have to be honest, right?
Yeah.
That's why people watch our platform.
Yeah.
Because they're looking for honesty.
Yeah.
And then you're honest, you're like, that's trash or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when you meet the artist, they think you hate them. It's like, no, bro, I'm just being honest.
Oh, my wig is slipping off.
Yeah, it's fine. You can take it off like Bonang.
That'll never happen. 2 years, yo.
This is why they wear the glue-ons. Me, I was like, I don't want to glue it on. Can I put?
You chef, do you want to check in the mirror?
Oh, you look
Yeah, you look
amazing.
I didn't even see.
No, I don't want to glue it on.
Do you get what I'm saying, Sol? Don't you get that as well?
Yeah, and it's just what we do. Commentary, right? And we have to be
commentary,
honest. That's why people come here. When we start being... Look, it's not like we'll come here and want to be ugly, but we'll call it as we see it.
But sometimes you come across as masochists, misogynists, because of the commentary on women. And I think you're read as misogynists because a lot of the times the perspective is, from the other side.
Yes.
And that's why I think you are considered women haters. And the only reason I came is because I was like, I see where they were going. It's not a woman hate, it's a conversation.
100%.
And again, I'm going to go back to why the fuck can't we have conversations? We need to have conversations. That's how you correct something. That's how you educate.
Yep.
You have to have the freaking conversation. And sometimes...
And there's no room for that no more.
And as a host, your job is not to also go and kuza your guest who's speaking, because I feel like you also get punished for what your guests say.
Yeah.
And then it stays with you.
Yeah.
And I go, but it's not what he said. It's what the guest said. And he didn't say cool. He said cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's about the guest. It's not about
the guest.
me.
It's not about you. So I suppose it is that. And sometimes it also feels like, it feels like you're shooting out of nowhere. Sometimes it's like you're trigger hip. Sometimes I'm like, MacG. We're all thinking it. You don't need to say it. Sometimes you can put on the ABS brake. But the reason the chillers love you is because you don't put on the ABS brake. But sometimes, you don't sugarcoat. But sometimes I go, you could have made that point without saying it like that. But
No, man, I'm childlike, man. So I don't even.
I know, but that's why I love you.
Yeah.
I was very scared of coming because I was like, I hope I don't end up saying shit I shouldn't say. Because you also have this thing of making people say things they are probably rehearsed that they won't say, and then they get here and then they end up saying it because they get comfortable, or their grandiose flowing.
Cool, man. We're going to play a game. It's called Quick Fire Questions, ne?
Okay.
I'm going to give you some questions and you must tell me the first thing that comes into your head.
Okay.
First thing, all right. The most famous celebrity you have on your phone?
Are you saying close?
We stay in
Atlanta, you stay in America, you stay in New York and Virginia, and the most famous person, you're on Netflix.
Who's more famous than Buiseni?
Come on,
you haven't bumped into T.I., Ludacris, Yana.
How you T.I. in? Don't you meet him in
T.I. is
Atlanta?
doing stand-up now. It's awkward. So
T.I.?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's doing stand-up. Yeah.
He's doing stand-up.
He's doing stand-up comedy, dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know who's the most famous person I've got lots of politicians. And I don't bother with famous people. Why does that surprise you?
Don't you have Dave Chappelle's number or someone?
Why do I need it though?
But you've met him, ne?
Yeah, no.
Ooh.
I've been in the same room, but I haven't met him.
Oh.
No. So here's my theory.
Yeah.
Because I've been, especially when you're in New York, you end up in spaces with these guys, right? And my thing is, I never want to take a picture as a groupie. The first picture anybody sees of me with any of these famous comedians on Instagram should be me and them working on a thing together. That's my thing.
Yes.
I don't want groupie. I don't want groupie pictures.
You're right.
Yeah. I want to be like, this is our project. This is what we're doing together.
But you could say, okay, listen, Dave, just act like we're working on something.
I think not chasing clout is the reason I still Chalmani in this industry.
Yeah, I love that, man. Because if I'm in New York, bro, I see Dave Chappelle, I'm going up to him, I'm telling him, yo, I love your shit.
I'm very shy.
Nah.
I'm very shy.
Wow.
What's the next question?
All right. 3 people you'd love to have dinner with, dead or alive.
Brenda Fassie. Oh my God, I would love to have.
Why my brother? You love the music.
I loved her music, but I loved her attitude. I wish she could inject me with that don't give a fuck attitude.
Yeah.
Because a certain level of don't give a fuck that I don't have that I need to have. I feel it's holding me back.
And it's dope, right?
Yeah. Because the minute I clock into that don't give a fuck thing.
It's fucked.
Oh my God, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
I still care a little too much.
Yeah, got you.
So we've got my brr. I would also love to have Michelle Obama. And not for any high the intelligence, just girl. Let's talk about dealing with a man like this who, everybody's testing after. Like, how do we do this? How do you handle? And also, what's it like grooming a president? For me, that's the thing. Like, I consider a wife married to a dude like that, there has to be some level of grooming you're doing. You know what I mean? Because I find that guys lack a certain discipline. It doesn't come naturally.
It's not even just him. I think it's every man that's successful.
Yeah. And then the last person, I don't know. Richard Pryor. I would love to sit with Richard Pryor.
My nigga. That guy was a goat.
Pryor.
Not even a goat, because that's used loosely now. Icon.
Like, I would love, and him, I would just want to know about his, like, growing up and getting into it. You know what I mean? Because I already know the adult him. I just want to get into the younger him.
It was complex, man. It was crazy, but the way he thought, like, comedians are geniuses. You know that, right? You got to be very smart to be a comedian.
Yeah.
So I think, like, I admire him a lot.
Excuse me.
You know Richard Pryor, my dog?
Oh. Richard Pryor was also my introduction to comedy. I didn't know stand-up comedy or understand it until I saw Richard Pryor.
Most people, even in America. Yeah. A reason you cancelled a date?
Because I met someone cuter.
So what happened? You were going on a date and you met someone cuter. Wow.
I was like, why am I still meeting that guy when I know I want to be here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. First thing you'd hide from your kids, sex toys or drugs?
Drugs.
Nah. We're hiding the drugs, nah? Okay.
My kids must know they can pleasure themselves.
Yeah.
But drugs are a tricky one.
Yeah. Have you ever dabbled in those?
Only weed.
Oh,
but weed technically is not a drug. So, guys, that's why I don't want my kids anywhere near drugs, because I have this, I'm very paranoid about drugs, man. I'm just like, anything manufactured. No.
Why? Is the history in your family of someone like...
No, I'm very conscious of, like, because already there are two drugs. Sugar is a drug, alcohol is a drug, right? My daughter, I'm convinced her drug is sugar, and I'm trying to wean her off sugar and get her to not love. She has a serious sweet tooth, right? Which she gets from me. And then alcohol is a drug, right? And I go, at some point, they're going to encounter alcohol. I can't hide it from them. Yeah. But drugs, dog. I just go, you're going to get on this thing, and I'm not sure what kind of junkie you're going to become. And that worries me.
Scary.
Because in this industry, I've met functional drug addicts.
Yeah.
Then there are the drug addicts who destroyed them and destroys their lives.
Yeah.
It's scary. I've met people who've even gone clean without going to rehab.
Wow.
Yet they were living on these drugs. So you don't know your chemical composition and what it's going to do to you. So that's why I would never want drugs near my children, because I have no idea if they're going to be functional or if it's going to screw them up. Then I must support them for the rest of my life. Now I can't pay for liposuction and new boobs and go on crazy holidays, because now I must take care of a fucking liability that can't afford its own drugs and now is a mess. You know what I mean? So
you said you dabbled in weed. At what point did you come to the conclusion that it's not for you?
I just don't like it often. I will, if you've got a joint and you like your passing, I'll have. But it's not a thing where you will find me with weed for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a banky for no reason. Yeah, that's not me.
All right, last question. You're doing a Netflix special on Cyril Ramaphosa. What's the title?
Bite my cupcake.
Bite my cupcake! Oh. I like that. That's a dope one, right?
I can call it sick note. But I like bite my cupcake.
What do you think about Cyril, man?
I really was so happy that he came in, not because I had anything against Zuma, because also I got attacked.
Yeah.
Who I got attacked? They're like, artists who were against Jacob Zuma. And I was there in the list. I'm like, why am I on the list? He's everybody's fodder. Comedians love him. He's our fodder. So what I liked about Cyril is I was like, you already have money, so I don't feel like you're going to steal from us. And you're nice. White people like you. You make us look good. So I was like, I trust that money will come back to the country because you're a businessman and, you know, they feel safer with you. You know, they were not quite sure with Geleshegisa, you know, because as far as I'm concerned, there is not a single president that I can say I've ever trusted in this country.
Of course.
And
it's the nature of politics.
It's the nature of politics. They are all dirty. Even the one we've turned into a messiah. All of. I put them all under one umbrella. So...
And you would know because your dad was in the struggle,
right?
So he knows these
So
things.
with Cyril, I was just like, let's just... Someone who's not blatant.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about the guy before him, that's the only time I started disliking him. I was like, why are you being so blatant about it? Like, because when you're that blatant, you're saying to us who don't know the workings of how this thing works that, you know, middle finger to us, we're going to vote for you anyway. It's like a woman who goes, Nshai, I know you're lying, but Nshai, make me feel like you give.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
That's what I want from my leader. I know you're lying. It's fine.
Yeah, but don't make it...
friend. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Sweet talk me.
So when you're in Atlanta and you see what's happening and they say we got load shedding and shit, you're like...
I miss that shit.
You miss it.
Best sleep of my life. It's dark as fuck. Like you're gonna sleep. Melatonin is flowing, bitch. You're not being disturbed. You know. I also... Yeah, with load shedding, there's load shedding in America.
Is there?
Yes, there are states where, you know, electricity has been privatized. And so there's dodgy dealings there. And they experience load shedding. We just don't hear about it. It's just that as South Africa, we're a country that's so good at beating ourselves the fuck up. You know, I've been to other parts of Africa. I mean, I remember when I was in Ghana, it was 12 hours off. Or 12 hours on, 24 hours off. Like, it was insane. You know, but you don't hear Ghanaians making noise about how they're sitting in the dark. And
So you're saying we're spoiled?
We're freaking spoiled. Other countries, they'll tell you, we just come home, there's no electricity, nobody wants us, nothing. We get warnings, we even get a schedule. Somebody warns you. For fuck's sakes, they prepare you for it. Other children, they don't know what lotto they're going to wake up to tomorrow. We get warned. So I do feel like as a country, I'm not saying we should accept mediocrity, but I think we should, on some level, stop being so damn hard on ourselves. I live in a country that I've learned is actually corrupt as fuck, but their corruption is functional. The country keeps it moving. The problem with our corruption is these guys must learn to nyofa before you do something. Nyofa, but you can nyofa and still make sure a school is standing. You can nyofa and still make sure that people are fed, people are getting their medicine, roads are built properly. You can skim off the
And
fucking
we won't
top.
bother you. We won't bother you.
But you're so damn greedy. You're greedy. Do the thing. Skim off the top.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Don't just eat and we can't see.
That's what white people do.
You know? They eat. But you can't say, yeah, but Lewis, you didn't deliver. No, that's delivered. It's delivered. You know? We were having PPE scandals here. They were happening in freaking UK, dog.
Yeah.
But you know what happened? You're not going to hear people from there saying they didn't get their protective gear. You won't hear that. So as a country, two things. We need to stop shitting on ourselves so much. We're a freaking amazing country. Sometimes I'm there and I'm like, you guys are more third world than South Africa, actually, America, to be honest. That's the first thing. And the second thing, our leaders, man, can they just be smart about this? Eat. We get it. People must eat. Everybody eats in every industry.
Yeah.
We know there's filth. But deliver to your people.
That's it. So simple.
That's all. Yeah?
And then, the country would thrive, bro.
Dude, we are incredible. Look at our music. Look at our art. Look at our science. Hey? No, man. Every time I travel in the world and I get to meet these high-ranking people and they'll tell you about a South African they work with. I met a woman who... she's a CNN journalist, now I've forgotten her name, old lady, she's retired. But she was talking about how incredible South Africa is. And when I told her I'm moving to America, she was like, don't give up on South Africa. What do you mean? It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. You don't leave South Africa, you know? And I was like, you're right. No one leaves South Africa. I left because I'm in a relationship where I've committed.
Yeah, of course.
You know? And although we're sitting at a point now where I'm like, I think I want to live between here and there.
Yeah.
I must first check out the tax implications.
Yeah.
But I think I want to live between here and there because really it's not sitting. I land.
Yeah.
I land, you know? And also because, you know, I recently graduated as a sangoma. I went into Bungoma.
Whoa, you
I did. And
in America? Utwasile
no,
in America?
Man, I'm hoping, hey, if I get Beyonce's and if Beyonce gets the calling, like I've been eyeing Kanye. I'm like, Kanye is the classic case of, he has a calling, that guy. All the symptoms are there. I'm like, when you must come in, okay, you know. But I found that it's also been very hard because these guys, the negotiations don't end. Yeah, you will negotiate with ancestors till you're blue in the face, Baba. And then you go to America and they're like, yeah, but we still want to work. I'm like, guys, we're in America. They're like, yeah, we stamped our visas, let's go. So, I've gone in Ndumba there, you know, I've set up and I've helped a couple of people so far, but it's still like, you know, because also sometimes, you know, you have closes who are very snobbish.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're not going to advertise and put up a sign. We will bring people to you.
Yeah, don't worry.
You know? Yeah. So it becomes that thing of the more you meet more of them, the more they're like, we don't know about America. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but these guys said they're cool. And they're like, yeah, but we're not cool.
Yeah.
So
how did you get the first person you assisted? Because obviously you're not advertising the concept of sangoma in America. How does that happen?
It happens naturally. Someone just shows up to you, starts telling you a story, and then goes, and then you go, oh shit, yeah, I do that. I do this.
I've got
then
powers.
you go, oh, okay.
And they don't think you're a witch.
You check with them.
They don't
No,
think-
there was one who came and he was like, yeah, you know, I heard about this. I was one. You know, she done put a voodoo on her.
Voodoo
She put
dog.
her voodoo on her dog. And you come in there, you up to some shit. You gonna burn, man. They say this man showed up, man. This show, he done stepped in that shit, man. And what happened is, him shoes start burning, man. Him shoe burned right there at the door, man. He was melting. There was no fire, but he was melting on that door. Well, voodoo, can you do that shit? You do that shit? I don't do that shit, sir. Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey because also you want your kids to be comfortable with it because you don't know if they're going to be called as well. Because for me it was hard. I was raised in a very Christian household.
Of course.
So when this happened, I was like, what just happened? And then I decided that no, my kids must know because now I had a lot of issues because I'm covering the stuff my mother didn't do because apparently she had a calling and she didn't do the right thing. So I'm carrying that. And so I let my kids be part of this and, you know, see as much and take part as much. And my daughter's my favorite because now when they do the drums, you know, and these guys are going to come. And she's like, oh, mommy, I can't wait for that other one who boogies on the dance floor. That's my favorite one. That's my favorite ancestor who boogies on the dance floor, mommy.
That's wild, man.
Like, not the scary one. Please don't call the scary one.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't call them. They arrive. It's like, yeah, don't call the scary one.
Yeah.
We don't like that one.
What do you think about if African Americans were to reconnect with their ancestors? What do you think would change?
They're doing it on a huge scale.
For real?
And what's changing is you will see how much Black Americans are taking back space, power, and kind of agency. Especially when you look at Atlanta, which feels like a place that was burnt down to the ground and rebuilt again. Okay. And you still feel that resistance from white people, but you see the strength and the solidness of the Black people. So it is happening. Because, again, this thing about ancestors talk to each other, because since they have met other healers who've been there. They're not from South Africa. They're healers from Nigeria. Yeah. There's healers from Cuba.
Wow.
Whoa. Right? So you meet all of these. And funny enough, I haven't met the Native American ones yet. But you meet them without looking for them. It's almost, that's what I'm saying. I feel like ancestors find each other. And so you find that they're so busy and they talk about the things they're encountering and we start to exchange notes, you know, see how they do the things they do.
Whatever.
So for me trying to find alternatives as well to things I can't access because I'm all the way over there. I'm still trying to find a day I'm going to go into the forest to try and forage for herbs. And I'm just like, it's... And finding alternatives to if I'm not going to slaughter a chicken because what's the alternative? Yeah, so...
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
It's insane. Yeah. That's how you know my ancestors have a sense of humor. I have cousins who make sense. I have cousins who are such sober citizens of the world. And I go, you could have called those guys. Those guys make sense. Me! Even my Gobela, like, he spent so much time just laughing at me. I was like, when are we going to finish? I'm like, we're going to finish, comrade. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Oh, man, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Which comedians are you loving at the moment?
I don't really get to watch much. I've been very busy. I'm writing. I'm in the States trying to freaking hustle for myself.
Yeah.
But I've been working with Lisa Traeger and she's amazing. She's a conversationalist and she just breaks me because she just doesn't care and she smokes her blunts and she tells you about her high stories. Yeah. It's so cool. Who have I seen? Thabisa Mhlongo I find very funny locally.
He's hilarious.
He is so damn funny. Like, oh my God.
Which one is that one? I don't know him.
That's Baxter's friend.
Oh, Baxter.
Yeah, Baxter. Our comedian, man.
Oh, yeah.
He was on O-Ship.
Oh,
and
yes.
Yeah.
He's going to be mad because I was with him the whole weekend.
Wow, and now you're like, I don't know who he is. And there's this young lady Mbali. I don't know her name, but she's hilarious as F. She's like tiny. She's like fun size. Yeah. Yes. Yo, she's so hilarious.
She's killing it.
I love that she gets on stage and you go, something's coming, and then it comes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So comedy's in good hands.
Comedy is in this country. Yeah. Oh my God. You know what I see happening in this country, because in the US, like I said, the industry is so huge. Yeah. I want comedians to realize that comedy is not one thing. And comedy, you can create spaces for comedy of different styles. It's the way the Vernac guys jumped in as soon as we established comedy in this country. And there was a lot of English comedy. And there was a demand for vernacular comedy. Yeah. That now you can fill arenas with just vernacular comedy.
You can.
And you have the Skumbas of the world who can fill up arenas by themselves. So what's exciting is these young comics who are coming up as well will realize that you can actually have your niche. You can build the industry. We're not all fighting for a small piece of the pie. You cannot accuse people of being gatekeepers. There's no gate to keep. This thing is still a baby.
The pie is
big. So new. The pie is huge. You can purely be a club comic and that's how you're killing it and that's your salary. You can purely be a corporate comic. You can be someone who goes mainstream, goes into TV. There is so many places to go. You can be a traveling comic who's just a festival comic who travels the world doing the comedy, and then you come home to sit with your dollars and your pounds and enjoy them.
Beautiful.
So it's huge. You just need to place yourself. You can even just purely be a writer. Sometimes you realize you're so funny in your writing, you're terrible as a performer.
Delivery,
You can write for someone. You can write for TV. And when you've got the Amazons of the world who've landed in South Africa, the Netflixes, the Paramounts, these guys are here, the Disneys.
Prime Video.
Dog, you can write for these people. You know what I mean? So the pie is limitless.
Oh, beautiful, man. Before she leaves, Penduka, any question?
Yeah, you're part of the ownership of a school or two. How did that come about?
Oh, yes. We started a matric rewrite program. Actually, it started off with helping people improve their English and matric rewrite. And then it grew. And this was a project that was championed by my late sister-in-law and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. And then we started increasing the number of grades. So we'd have grade 11, grade 10. And then she passed on, unfortunately, a few years ago. And since then, we've expanded. So the school in Pretoria is like from grade R to matric. Whoa. And the school in Wynberg is a high school. So, yeah.
Private schools.
Yeah, these are private schools, inner city. We're trying to offer an alternative, you know what I mean? Because, when you take your child to an inner city school, it's almost like you're just sending them there to finish the day and then come home. So we're trying to offer something that goes, we're going to educate your children, but we're going to care about their well-being. We've created these diaries where we get them to at least write goals. We've got motivational quotes for them. We try and involve their parents. The way, kids who go to Model C schools are used to, there's a parent-teacher meeting, parents are involved, and you find that a lot of these other schools, that's not the case. It's always just pay your school fees, bring the child, here's the results. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to change the face of inner city schools.
Dude, you've got a school.
What are they called?
It's called Summit. Summit colleges. Yeah.
You've got a school, dude.
Summit and St. Aquinas. Yes.
Look at you.
Summit and St. Aquinas.
Yes.
What was that? St. Aquinas.
St. Aquinas. It's a patron saint there from the Catholic people.
Oh,
They're a
okay,
Catholic
church
family.
stuff.
How are you funding that? Hey, to me.
So when we get 100% matric pass, we get a subsidy from government.
Okay.
But we've also got a business that tenders out to train. We upskill municipalities or municipal workers and certain government departments. Yeah. So that's what we do.
Fuck. And what I love about that is that you're not going on social media and being like, hey, look what I'm
Right.
doing. You know
I've
what I
got
mean?
a
It's like,
school.
if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Some things are just they're your life and they're yours, you know?
Joe, you're so blessed, to me.
I am incredibly
time.
blessed. Yes.
Let's talk about the movie, man. The reason why I wanted you here, I
yes.
saw the trailer.
Yes.
I'm like, fuck, this looks dope. And then I reached out to Dudu, our producer. I'm like, why haven't we gotten TUMI on the show before, you know?
Because I'm boring.
Come on,
Like,
please.
I've got nothing.
But the movie looks dope, man.
It is so dope. The Honeymoon. We shot it in Durban, in Zanzibar, and in Stone Town. And it was insane. I had just had gallbladder surgery. Like they removed my gallbladder. I was in recovery. The doctor was like, you can't go film this thing. You need weeks to recover. I was like, my dog, I'm going to shoot this thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, I have to run. Do you think I can run? And he was like, for the next 6 weeks, no.
Yeah.
So I went to the director. I was like, hey, you know that part where we run? Yeah. For the next 6 weeks, we can't run. Maybe let's make it 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But we can't run.
Oh, so you can get a stunt double.
So no, I must do this thing myself. So it was really dope. It's me, Mini Dlamini, don't. And Kajal Bagwandi. And yeah, it was such an incredible experience because the director of this film is the same director I did 3 Days to Go with. And so, yeah, you get to see me in a cozy. I do things in this film that I never thought I'd get to do because when I feel like I've come full circle because when I started in this industry, I was told about how I'm fat, don't have a look, they don't know how to cast me. Now I'm a lead in a film wearing freaking swimming costumes and, you know, getting to do wild shit. So, yeah, it's a really dope film, bruh. It's about this chick who was supposed to get married, and then this mother effer dumps her at the island. We're like, let's go. The honeymoon is paid for. Let's go do the honeymoon ourselves. And then it just goes buck wild. Yeah, so it's a nice girls trip film, and it's so nice because what I enjoyed about our story is it's about reconnecting. Because, you know, so many of us are disconnected. Like, we have friends from high school, we were like this, or friends from college, we were like this. And then life starts happening and we start adulting and we start kind of go our separate ways. But there comes a time when one of us is going through whatever they're going through and we need to come back together. And for some reason, we always slot back in. But sometimes when you slot back in, there's unresolved issues that we must deal with. And that's the story, man.
Beautiful, man.
You said you had your gallbladder removed.
Yeah.
Why? What happened? Why did you have that?
So me, I'm there shooting. I blew it, rewind, and I'm pale. And the director goes, you don't look so good. I'm like, I don't feel so good. But let's finish this. Bring me an antacid. They bring me antacids. But I'm like, no, my stomach. I couldn't eat. The whole morning I couldn't eat, right? Now you must understand me, I'm a pusher, ne?
Yeah.
I'm always working like this. I was working radio. I had just submitted a script because I'm a script writer as well for various TV things. And I was just finished shooting another film. So now my body is like, bitch, we need a break. But now I'm on this thing and we're filming back to back because we need to submit by the end of the month. And so the exhaustion plus whatever was happening with my gallbladder, I start sweating profusely and I'm just looking pale as F. And the director says, I'm calling it. We're not shooting. We're taking you to the doctor. This idiot gets into her own car, drives out. Production's calling. They're like, where are you? We're trying to take you to the doctor. I'm like, I'm driving to the doctor. Get to the doctor. I collapse. Everything's coming out both ways. I'm vomiting, diarrhea. I'm sweating, and I'm in pain. It's like I'm dying. This guy comes and injects me right there where I am. Things seem to calm down. They call my husband to fetch me because there's no way I'm going to be able to drive my own car. So he Ubers there, puts me in my car, drives me home. I get home. I go upstairs. I was barely in my bedroom 2 minutes. I was on the floor again. This time I was like, we have to go. They had to literally carry me downstairs. And that time I'm like, actually, why did I even bother going to my room? So they carried me downstairs, put me in the car. By the time we got to the hospital, I couldn't walk anymore. I was in that much pain. So they fetched me. Now this is peak pandemic, guys. This is 2021. So he can't come in with me. And they also have run out of stretchers because remember, people were sick.
Yeah.
So now they had to put me in a wheelchair. But like, I don't know how they managed to put me in that wheelchair, doubled over the way I was. And immediately they put me on some drip, injected me with a painkiller. I'm still doubled over. This guy comes back and says, my sister, we've been dragging you for the past 2 hours. You are not responding to the drip. You're not responding to the painkillers. We need to admit you. But your medical aid is going to make you pay here. We need to take you to another hospital. I'm like, okay, just tell my husband. They're like, yeah, no one can go with you. That one is a high care. They actually don't allow anyone. He can't even meet you there. So whatever you need, you better have it with you now. I was in Bedford Gardens at that time, right? So they take me to whichever hospital that was. Turns out some hospital in Benoni, dog. And I'm sure I lasted one night in this ward. They moved me to high care. They were like, this is a problem. Now I'm thinking I must be dying. What the hell? You know? So the doctor comes and he's like, okay, my dear, there's something going on with your gallbladder. And we may need to remove it. You know, we're treating you, he's explaining everything. I'm in and out of consciousness. But my blood pressure was also through the roof. And there's no one around me. I don't have family. I can't. My phone dies. I'm like, the minute my phone dies, I'm cut off from everyone, you know? So it was a very lonely, scary time. I can't imagine what it was like for people with COVID who had to go through that shit. And so it turned out that the stones were tearing my bag. So it was leaking. So it was hectic. I had to have the surgery and it was insane. And then I called the producer. I was like, guys, I just had surgery. I've been told I need to be in recovery. How far can you push out filming? And they were like, you've postponed this thing twice already because of the pandemic, and that's money. They're like, we're going to be in breach of contract if we move this thing again. And I was like, not a fuck. You are not recasting me. I'll come.
TUMI.
I'll come. And that's when I started working with my PA because I was like, first of all, you're going to handle making sure I do what I should do because I know me. Once I get into work mode, I don't take care of myself.
Oh, yes.
And so this dude came through for me. Jordan was like making me shakes, giving me my medication, handling the phone calls, making sure I'm meeting deadlines, and like traveling with me, basically.
He brought you here, man. Shout out to Gordon, man.
Jordan is a goat.
Jordan.
So, so we started filming and now I'm still, but also what's nice is also I'm producing because now I'm on this restricted diet because I must recover inside as well, you know what I mean? So I'm getting smaller and smaller as we're shooting and I was very tired as well. You know, when you're in recovery, because your body's working so much, you're tired. So I was very tired on set. But when I saw the rushes, I was like, that doesn't look like a sick bitch. Yeah. So I really want to watch this film for that as well to see.
Did they tell you what causes the gallbladder? They didn't tell you, no?
I don't know, but I know that my paternal aunt also had to have hers removed. So it might be a hereditary thing that
It sounds crazy, man.
Yeah. But I met a lady, I also believe in holistic healing, and this one woman was telling me that also gallbladder is about how your you've been carrying so much.
Oh.
You know, especially it's been weighing down your maternal side, and that's the part that... I was like, okay, so now that the maternal is gone, what must happen?
Shit,
you know?
TUMI, we gotta let you go.
Yes,
Where are you going now?
I'm going to watch my own movie for the first time ever. So we're having a viewing of The Honeymoon with the whole cast, and I'm really, really excited to see it. But before I go, I need my flowers. I need to reclaim my flowers from Saul.
Yeah.
Saul has my tattoo on his leg. He has already told you this, but he stole my flowers.
Yeah.
I'm the one who told him, put TM instead of TUMI MORAKE because TM is trademark.
Mark.
Then you can make it a trademark. Because he had a girlfriend he was very afraid of at that time.
Very
he was like,
in love
"Guys,
with,
my
not
girlfriend,
afraid."
guys, my girlfriend." And then I was like, "Yo, this guy looks like he's gonna cry." I'm like, "It's fine, make it trademark. It's okay." And now I'm watching your podcast here. He's like, "Yeah, so I was lucky. He's my idea." I'm like, "That's all. Stop. You're lying. That was my idea.
Put me on blast.
Give me my freaking flowers.
TUMI.
Thank you."
Can you give her a flower, Saul?
I did. TUMI. I've got your initials here. You
Yes.
came up with the genius
Yes.
idea for it to be TM
Yes.
so that it looks like
Yes.
the trademark symbol, but really it's your initials.
Thank
you, TUMI. You're
to-
still on my leg. I haven't covered you up.
Because you love me. That's another thing. I'm still on your leg because on some level, Saul, on some level, you know I'm
Hey, man.
Now you are.
Snap.
I'd have you on the other leg. Not the other one. The
Oh,
other
that
one.
one.
Yeah, the third one.
That
There.
will break the bed.
Oh, dude.
To me, in closing, man, what do you want to be remembered as? Huh?
I want to be remembered as the realest member of this industry who was accessible. I love being accessible. And I hope when people remember me, they go, "She was so accessible. She made me feel like I can." That chick who grew up in Tabanchu in a little village called Kharamakari, who used to watch TV on a generator for 2 hours because after that petrol is finished, went and made it and went all the way to the States where people know her name all over the world. And yet I could still DM her and she would respond. I could greet her in the streets and she would stop, look me in the eye and speak to me.
She's human.
That's how I want people to remember me.
Beautiful. Love that. Beautiful.
Thank you so much for coming through. This is a local brand. It's a pair of sneakers. We give this to all our guests.
Oh, wow.
So it's a local brand. It's called Via.
Hiya, Joe!
Danko!
Oh, okay. I was like, this is a sign. You know, oh my God, and it's my size. That's 37. How do you guys know my size?
Yeah, Dudu got your size.
Go, dude, go.
Sir.
Yeah.
So, here's the fun thing about me. I have a shoe obsession.
Okay.
Like a proper.
Yeah.
If you could see my shoe collection,
Yeah.
that's my first issue.
Yeah.
Secondly, you know when you buy a woman's shoes, it means you're getting rid of them or your lover.
Yes,
they say
I've
you
heard
must
of
never
that.
buy your
Yeah,
lover
I've heard
shoes
about
because you're
that,
keeping
yeah.
them out. So does this mean I'm never coming back to the podcast?
Oh, never.
Oh, you're
What
a
do you
friend
mean?
now. Come on.
Fuck out of here.
Dope. Thank you. This is my color.
Yeah.
Yellow for a yellow bone.
Danko. Tumi, thank you so much for coming through,
I
man.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you for not grilling me and exposing my own scandals.
What scandals do you have?
All of us are scandalous, Baba. It's all about how to we. It's about how to we. So thank
Wish you all the best in your career, man.
Thank you, MacG. Thank you for being true to your voice.
Thank you.
You don't know how important that is.
Are we sucking each other's dicks now?
Proper. Smoke up each other's asses. Thanks, so seriously, Saul. Thank you for being true to your voices. You could have caved at any moment.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man.
We out of here, man. Podcast and chill. Boom.
Welcome to Black Excellence. Do not fear, for if you do, just sip on some grandeur. And if you still do, ask ourselves, what would Mapapunzi do? Parama chila, itlasha lefiki. Ungoyiki, even if when they ask you, how sabini, do not fear. For if you do, just say, Anistivi. This is the medicine of censorship. This is the pill. Which one is that one? Podcast and chill.